Hello people of the internet, today we are here to ask the question, Ember.
Yeah! What is it good for?
Indeed, what is the Warframe Ember good for? To answer this we will take a look at its abilities inside the simulacrum before taking it out into the live environment to see it in action. After that we will take a look at how to acquire this Warframe. I have to say that Ember has come a little late in this series for me. The reason is I thought I had already covered it but I hadn't. I put it on hold because when I started this series Ember was about to get an overhaul and I wanted to wait until that was done before covering it. I completely forgot to do it though once the update was complete and only just remembered now. So with that said, let's get to it. Ember's passive ability applies an extra 5% ability strength buff to Ember for every enemy burning with a heat proc within 50 meters. As a lot of what Ember does is setting enemies on fire, this is worth keeping in mind as it can really ramp up the effectiveness of some abilities. Ember's first main ability is Fireball. Charge and release a fire projectile that ignites enemies on contact. This ability has a 100% chance to apply a heat proc on the enemy you have it aimed at. It also triggers an area of effect that has a 50% chance to apply a heat proc on any other enemy within 2 to 2.4 meters, depending on if you charge the ability or not. This can cause a short CC while the enemies try to pat out the flames, but most importantly it can be used to prime another ability as we will now get 5% extra ability strength from any enemy on fire. Ember's second ability is Immolation. Protect Ember with flame armor that burns stronger over time, consuming energy once its meter is at full strength. Cast again to extinguish the flame. This ability costs 50 energy to cast as standard and will start with a minimum of 40% damage reduction at max rank. For me, I have it starting at around 50% due to having the Intensify mod on my build. You can then increase this up to a cap of 90% by using your other abilities to damage the enemies. Throwing a fireball will increase it by 1% per second and the later abilities can improve on this even more. Once the ability reaches its 90% cap, it will start to eat away at your energy pool at a rate of around 10 energy per second, so bear that in mind and try to juggle it with your other abilities, which we will get to now. Ember's third ability is Fireblast. Slam the ground to create a wave of incinerating plasma that knocks enemies back and strips their armor. As the tooltip states, at its bare minimum this ability can knock down enemies and strip their armor. The armor reduction is around 50% as standard but can be increased all the way to 100% with strength mods and the passive perk. What the small tooltip does not state is that using this ability will also remove up to 50% of the heat generated by immolation and also reduces its generation amount by 2%. This allows you to juggle the rate in which you gain heat and keep it below 90% to try and manage your energy better, as stated earlier. Ember's fourth ability is Infernal. Command a flaming comet to crash down in front of Ember, engulfing enemies with a fire that can spread through their ranks. This tooltip states that it commands a flaming comet, so you may expect one big implosion, but in fact you will actually get multiple comets, or perhaps just one comet split into multiple bits of debris. Either way you get to pretty much hit as many enemies as you can in front of you within 25 meters. The ability does cost 10 energy per enemy hit as standard, so the amount of enemies hit will also depend on the amount of energy you have at the time of casting. This ability also increases your heat generation by 3% per second, so it can really start to ramp that up too. As you may have realised by now, juggling Ember's abilities to keep everything ticking over can be very costly on your energy supply, so having some mods to increase energy gains are pretty much essential. Mods such as Hunter Adrenaline or Rage and Ember's Exothermic Augment can really help you out here. So now that we have seen what Ember can do, let's take it out into the live environment to see it in action. Ember was once used mainly to fly through exterminate missions, burning everything in sight with its world on fire ability. As Ember does not do that anymore, you cannot rely on that. However, the changes implemented have opened up Ember to a whole lot more usefulness. You can still burn through exterminate missions causing a lot of damage and destruction, now though you can also stay alive much longer in survival missions and the likes. For instance, I have brought Ember to the Void Survival Mission MOT. I come here to farm Neo and Axie relics and find Ember to be a lot of fun as staying alive requires you to manage your heat and energy well while also destroying everything in sight. This can be much more fun than just cheesing it with frames like in Aros. Now that we know what Ember can do, you may be wondering how to get your hands on this Warframe. As Ember Prime is a thing, you may want to check what is currently available from the Void relics at the time. If however Ember is vaulted as it is at the time of recording, you will need to collect the standard Ember from Saturn instead. Here you must take down General Sargeus Rook from the mission node Tethys on Saturn. In this fight you must try to stay out of Rook's fiery attacks until he overheats and opens up one of his vents to cool down. This will start on his left arm. Once you see that light up, you can attack that spot to deal damage. After enough damage has been caused, the part will be destroyed and he will then vent from his chest and then his back. Attack all of these spots in order to finish him off and then head on over to extraction to receive your blueprint part reward. In this instance I received the Ember chassis blueprint. Rinse and repeat until you also have the systems and your optics blueprints, and then head on over to the marketplace to grab Ember's main blueprint for 25,000 credits. With all 4 blueprints in hand, you can get to crafting this Warframe. So there you have it, we have taken a look at Ember and what it is good for. If you like this video, please help the channel by clicking the like button. Also please consider clicking the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified when the next video arrives. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.